When a 5-3 team hosts a 6-1 team, it's pretty close to a pick'em. Not this one, not when it's the Bills and the Jets look like they did last week.
Well, help a lot of big numbers. If Buffalo didn't play as badly as they did the second half the other day, I might lean to the Jets, but they were bad the second half the other night. Josh Allen threw 2 picks. He's not going to do that again. He's going to go in and light up the Jets, and the Jets have quarterback issues. You want to pull out the scales? You want to pull? He was terrible last week. They're going to blow them out. The Buffalo Bills are the much better team. They will blow out the Jets.
I have the Bills winning this one 28-13, in control the whole way. I think the Jets will play well in the beginning. I think they'll be fired up because they are playing the Bills, but the Bills are the much better team. He's off. Something is wrong. I don't know if it's physical, so I'm not starting out by making a mistake or an excuse for him. He's dealing with something with the elbow. He's been flexing the hand, all those things. He made some dumb decisions. Just like last week, it's not him. I could not believe he didn't see the defender on that first interception. And I don't know what the problem was between he and when Sauce Gardner got the interception with Gabe Davis. One went one way, one went the other. Normally you put that blame on the receiver because you don't think Josh would do that. But the last 2 weeks, Jenna, he has just not looked like himself. The passing game, 50%.
Hey, Brady! Brady Quinn! The Jets aren't starting 0-9! Hey, Brady! Brady Quinn! The Jets aren't starting 0-9!
I can do it all, I will never fall off the Renaissance. You know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you what a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall off the Renaissance. You know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you what a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Taco Tuesday with Gunny, and we've got a lot to talk about today. Joining me, you guys saw the clip earlier. My guest, my boy Jet, talking about calling out freaking Brady Quinn. I'm not gonna lie to you, every time I see that video, I still laugh. So without further ado, my boy Jet. Go ahead. Add to the. I swear to God, this thing doesn't want to work half the time now. I don't know what's going on with it.
What's going on, man? How are we?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. How you doing today?
Not bad. Not bad. How can I not be doing good after this past Sunday?
I mean, in all actuality, it'd be hard for me to kind of figure out how you don't feel good as a Jets fan after seeing what we got to see this past weekend.
Also, and the new Joe Namath jersey in the background as well, looking good.
That?
Looking
good.
good.
Appreciate you. I got to add that to the collection. Again, shout out to Italy Jet for making that happen. I got to literally find a way to go ahead. I'm going to have to get rid of the Larry Fitzgerald. That's got to go now and find a way to kind of center it up there and make it work. But, yeah, nice add to the addition. Italy Jet really hooked it up. Wanted to also give a shout-out to that initial clip. In case it didn't finish, I'm going to run it back. But this clip was actually posted on Twitter by Tony Banks at Hip Hop Stolen. Stole that little clip from him a little. I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and play the whole clip again so that way you guys can see it. It's all about the disrespect that the New York Jets received before this game. Even after the game, the complaints that were currently ongoing about how Josh Allen, you know, he was injured, he was banged up. Like, you know, the Jets defense just isn't that good. Hear it for yourself because it was disrespectful, and it really got me kind of agitated today. So I'm going to play that one more time.
When a 5-3 team hosts a 6-1 team, it's pretty close to a pick'em. Not this one, not when it's the Bills and the Jets look like they did last week.
Well, help a lot of big numbers. If Buffalo didn't play as badly as they did the second half the other day, I might lean to the Jets, but they were bad the second half the other night. Josh Allen threw 2 picks. He's not going to do that again. He's going to go in and light up the Jets, and the Jets have quarterback issues. You want to pull out the scales? You want to pull? He was terrible last week. They're going to blow them out. The Buffalo Bills are the much better team. They will blow out the Jets.
I have the Bills winning this one 28-13 in control the whole way. I think the Jets will play well in the beginning. I think they'll be fired up because they are playing the Bills.
Yeah.
But the Bills are the much better team. He's off. Something is wrong. I don't know if it's physical, so I'm not starting out by making a mistake or an excuse for him. He's dealing with something with the elbow. He's been flexing the hand, all those things. He made some dumb decisions. Just like last week, it's not him. I could not believe he didn't see the defender on that first interception.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the problem was between he and Sauce when Sauce Gardner got the interception with Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
One went one way, one went the other. Normally you put that blame on the receiver because you don't think Josh would do that.
Yeah.
But the last 2 weeks, Jenna, he has just not looked like himself. The passing game, 50% passing. He was all over the map, only 200 yards, no touchdowns. The Jets defense is good. It's not that good.
It's not that good. Josh explained, he said, he played like beep,
Bleep.
bleep.
Yeah.
He played like shit.
Begins with an S. Yeah, exactly.
He played like shit.
And now guess what?
Jets fans were hilarious.
They were going crazy, right?
Fourth quarter starts, they're obviously up by 3, and like a lot of fans were just like, put your 4s up. It's like, you're up by a field goal.
The blatant disrespect by that media group was just astounding to me, bro. Like, I sat there and I'll admit, I was one in the beginning that stated against this Buffalo Bills team, the Jets were going to lose. I did not think we were going to win this game. I'm real about mine. And I stated, at the end of the day, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football. That defense is number one. That offense is number one. Kind of a freaking tall order for us to ask this young squad to beat these Super Bowl favorite Buffalo Bills. I respected that. I did believe in our defense, and I stated that it was going to be a defensive game, and we would cover the spread. But in all actuality, the fact that the Jets won isn't a surprise. A perfect game was played to make it happen. But to me, it's the bravado of Bills media, Bills fans, Bills mafia, or whatever. They are one of 12 teams to never win a Super Bowl. They have had 4 attempts at it in our 0-4, which is by far the most attempts and failures in the entire NFL at the Super Bowl. And yet, this level of bravado to me is just shocking. I can't, how did that clip make you feel as a Jets fan?
It's kind of one of those things, and when I've had conversations with people about it since Sunday, obviously, and it's, why can't the Jets be good? You know what I'm saying? The Bills played a bad game, maybe, but the people that are saying that that's not because the Jets are good, that's what bothers me. It's because, if this was a week 1 or week 2 thing, sure, but the Jets are 6-3. At some point in time, we have to say, okay, the Jets are a good team. The Jets are a respectable team. The Jets were forcing these errors. These are errors that you don't see Josh Allen make.
Facts.
The Jets were forcing these errors because the Jets have in my opinion, I think they have a top 3 defense in the league. I really do believe that. It's week after week after week. They are forcing mistakes that most quarterbacks or even, the offensive line or anything like that they usually do not make. And so it's just the disrespect has to go away. And at some point in time, you have to accept that the Jets are just a good football team.
I think that's the crazy part about it, right? Is like the beginning of the season, we all saw it. We all saw the disrespect in terms of what the expectation was for this team. People thought, Vegas thought 5.5 games tops for the year. I'm not gonna lie to you. I took that bet, already cashed it out. Thank you, Vegas, for that lack of foresight. Because the majority of individuals who even just watched the Jets offseason and knew the Jets had a ton of injuries last year. So really a bunch of players who were supposed to see last year, we didn't get to see last year because they were hurt. This team was going to be better. We won 4 games last year with practice squad players playing in the league. This year we had a lot of our guys back and we added some talent in the draft. 5.5 games, it was pure disrespect. And
I agree.
Even now, as they're beating teams, they're doing it convincingly with defense. The Jets are second in the NFL right now in terms of fourth quarter point differential. Complete night and day from what we saw last year where we couldn't finish the game and save our lives. We've now elevated in that particular aspect. This team seems to wake up and get better as the games go on. You've seen the adjustments made at the half. Now, minus the Patriots game where we don't know what the hell was going on with Zach. But even with that game, the Jets could have still won that game if Zach threw one less interception. Just
I
one
agree.
less interception, Zach. We could have still won that game. So to me, it's just I'm wondering if it's just lazy individuals, man. Like it's got to be lazy takes because people refuse to do the work and refuse to acknowledge that this team is for real. This Jets team is for real.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's kind of people that are just like, oh, the Jets. It's the same old Jets, and that's kind of just. And you know what? They made their bed. They have to lay in it. But you know what? They're changing the culture and they're changing the persona behind what it means to be the New York Jets. And so eventually the media will hopefully take that into account. But as of right now, they're just going to continue with the Jets are not good, and that like they had in that Bills clip where it's the Bills played a bad game, not the Jets played a good game, and that's frustrating.
It's insane, too, because, like, when you go back and you watch that game and you realize just how impactful that defensive line was and just how tight the coverage was in terms of the secondary. And it's crazy to me because I don't know if you saw this or not, but at the end of that game, Josh Allen, Von Miller, and I forget the offensive lineman's name, man, but an offensive lineman as well, kind of got out there in their post-game conference, and they were like, damn, like, these guys wanted it more than we did. They came here, they hit us in the mouth, they kept hitting us, and they didn't stop. Like, that was the offensive lineman saying, like, they just would not stop hitting us. Von Miller talking about how, that boy Sauce is the real deal, and how he's infatuated with watching defensive line play and watching those guys get after their quarterback, get into the backfield. He was just like, yeah, those guys are hungry, and they're good. Like, this is a first ballot Hall of Famer talking about, like, yeah, they just fucked us up. There was no advantage.
Yeah,
we got fucked up. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I'm with you. When you have the players are now starting to not just Jets players, but opposing players. You said, Von Miller, Josh Allen. These guys are taking into account that no one wants to play the Jets in December or January. No one's going to want to play this team late in the year because this is a playoff team that Joe Douglas has built in New York. This is a playoff football team, and sooner than later, the media is going to realize that, and maybe they'll lie like Brady Quinn and say that they're not saying any of this stuff.
They didn't say
it. It is. There are some guys on this team that are all pros, Pro Bowlers.
Yes.
That are going to be. I mean, Sauce Gardner is Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's any disputing that.
No.
I mean, the Jets did amazing in the draft this year. They had the best draft class by far, maybe one of the best draft classes in the history of the NFL. And they're putting it on the field right now, and they're going to work.
I think for me, it's the fact that this team is 6-3 right now, tied in the AFC for the most wins, and they're doing it with the youngest roster of the winningest teams. Mm-hmm. The New York Jets have the youngest roster of any team with 4 wins and higher.
That's a crazy stat. I didn't know that was a stat. That was a crazy stat.
Any of all the teams that have 4 wins and higher, the New York Jets have the youngest roster. And
that's awesome.
Bruh, the young guys are making plays. It's not just like, oh, they're there. You know what I'm saying? We're winning because of these young guys in their first year, second year in the league. And to me, I just can't, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just can't stop thinking about, like, man, imagine next year when we're healthy and we have Breece Hall back. We have Elijah Vera Tucker back. Who knows? Maybe Mekhi Becton gets his head out of his ass and wants to jump in on this game too and start, contributing. Like James Robinson, Michael Carter. Like, we have, on the defensive side, like you said, we got Pro Bowlers, all pros on the defensive side. On the offensive side, we've got Pro Bowlers, all pros. In terms of a guy like a Breece Hall, I believe wholeheartedly would have been an all-pro in his rookie year. I think he was en route to be an all-pro. People think I'm crazy, but I do believe he was. And call me crazy, and I'm seeing somebody else saying the same thing over here, Landon with the comment. Sauce is really that guy. He is playing like a true veteran. He plays man like I've never seen a rookie do before. And he's not wrong. In fact, in a group chat of a bunch of us guys who like to get on here and talk about the Jets, talk football, we sat here and had a conversation trying to figure out, like, yo, who does Sauce Gardner remind you of in terms of this level of efficiency and play in the rookie year? And we, of course, want to go to Darrelle Revis because that's the guy, right? He's him. But Darrelle Revis did not have a blowout rookie year. He did not have a rookie year the way we're seeing Sauce Gardner have a rookie year. This kid is different. And I couldn't think of anybody. I could not think of anybody. I went as far back as Deion Sanders, thinking maybe Deion Sanders, when he played for Atlanta, he might have been that guy. I could not think of anybody that has had this level of effectiveness in year one. Some people are going to say Trayvon Diggs, but it's different in terms of what he did, what Sauce is doing. Diggs was a ball hawk. Like in year one, he had a lot of interceptions. But he gave up a lot of yards, you know what I'm saying? He got beat a lot too, but those interceptions kind of overshadowed, you know what I'm saying, the bad play in terms of giving up yardage. But this is an all-around defensive back he's number one in the league in passes defended. He's got a 33.9% quarterback rating when targeted, which is freaking insane.
Yeah.
2 interceptions right now, tied for I think third in the league right now, which isn't saying much because it's just 2. But hey, he's top 3 in the league right now in interceptions. And he's a rookie, and he's not doing it against scrubs. He's legitimately doing this against top talent in the league, top talent in the league. What do you feel about Sauce Gardner?
You know, it's the kind of thing of I actually just got my Sauce Gardner. I got a jersey. I usually don't do the jerseys. The last jersey I got was "He shall not be named Jamal Adams." And I haven't gotten a Jets jersey since then. I thought it was a curse. And I got my jersey. I put my Sauce Gardner jersey on. First play of the game, he gets beat for 43 yards by Stephon Diggs. I thought, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way I just cursed this. And he locked it up the rest of the game, though.
Yep.
He locked it up the rest of the game. And when I look at Sauce Gardner, and he's a rookie. He's a rookie. And what's he doing? He's making the big play at the end of the game on 4th and 21, getting a pass deflection. I don't care what Bills fans say. That was not pass interference.
Not even close.
It was not. That was the end of the
close.
game. It's hands on each other. You know, let him play. Let him play. And in my opinion, let him play. Don't let the game be decided by the referees. I'm big on that. But he's the guy making the big game-winning play at the end of the game. And you knock off the team in first place in your division. You're now at 6-3 because he made a big play. He had an interception in the game. I mean, he's doing things, and this is not a one-game thing. He's been doing this all year long. He's making the big play when the Jets need it, and he's a rookie. And if you're, as a Jets fan, if that doesn't get you ecstatic and that doesn't have you as excited as the next guy, then I don't know what this team can do to get you excited.
Nothing. The answer to that is nothing. If you can't look at this and be truly pumped up about what this team is doing, even if you're a Zach Wilson hater, you know, maybe you're a Coach Saleh hater, somehow you believe Joe Douglas is trash, and oddly enough, we do have those individuals out there who would even go as far as to say Joe Douglas is trash. I digress. Even if that's the case, this team is 6-3 going into the bye with a 75% chance of now making the playoffs. It's been a minute since we've seen the playoffs. In fact,
that's exciting.
We had the longest active drought of not making the playoffs in the NFL. So 75% chance of making that happen to me is beyond exciting. And you couldn't tell me nothing. I think Joe Douglas is on track to be the executive of the year. I think Coach Saleh, and I think it's him and Coach Dable, the Giants coach. Is it Sable or Dable? I always say it's Dable.
I think it's Dable. Yeah.
Yeah, Dable. Coach Dable. I think he's done an incredible job with the New York Giants. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it sucks to say this, but even Coach McDaniel with the Miami Dolphins, he's done with that offense, man. He's got Tua looking like he's an all-pro freaking Hall of Fame quarterback, and that's a conversation for a different day. But what he's done to maximize the strengths of those players and minimize their weaknesses has just been masterful. So even a guy like that, I would say is in that conversation in terms of Coach of the Year. But to go from where we were at, 32nd ranked defense, to right now arguably top 3 defense in the NFL. I don't want to be the homer and say number 1, even though technically we just stopped the number 1 offense and held them to a season low of 17 points. Who knows? I don't wanna,
I'm with you.
I don't want to be the homer and just be like, yeah, we're the number. But top 3 defense. Special teams is still top 3, even though they've had a couple of rough goings the last couple of games. And this offense is middle of the pack. It's not a top 10 offense. It's not a top. I think top 17 right now in terms of points. The rushing game is top 10, which is beautiful. The passing game, middle of the pack, 17-18 range, which is fine. But we're winning because we're playing complementary football, man. When you can get all 3 phases on track, when we didn't have Zach trying to go ahead and play hero ball the way he did with the Patriots, you realize you have a playoff caliber defense. You have a playoff caliber special teams. don't give the other team like field position, and they're not scoring. They can hope for field goals, but they're not scoring at will like they used to, like last year. Josh Allen didn't throw a touchdown pass for the first time in 17 games. 17 games, bruh.
And that was the Jets, baby.
And exactly, bruh. That was our New York Jets. That just made that happen. All right. Freaking Stephon Diggs, right now tied for leading the league in touchdown receptions. Had a lot of individuals talking about if Sauce Gardner gets on Diggs, congratulations. He's about to give up his first touchdown in his NFL career. And that was legitimately a thing. People were saying that. Wrong. Sauce Gardner, like you said, I'm not going to lie to you, he got beat that first round. I was just like, shit. I was
as well.
I was like, man, I know Diggs
game.
is that guy, but 43 yards on the first play, this is going to be a long day. And you didn't hear from Diggs again after that. Like, it's almost like he just disappeared and it just got drowned in sauce. It was just gone. And this team is doing it, man, in ways that we've not seen Jets teams do it before. They're passionate. They love to win. I can't say enough good things about this, man. Like, this team right now is on track, if you're asking me, to potentially be the number one team in the AFC East. Now, I know people are going to say, man, this homer is losing his mind. But I legitimately believe this Jets roster is good enough to be the number one team in the AFC East.
Yeah, I think that they've proven that. You know, they beat Buffalo. The arguable going into this past week, I think it was very clear, in my opinion, that the Buffalo Bills were the best team in the NFL.
100%. Facts.
They were the best team in the AFC ranking wise, and they were, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL. And the Jets beat them.
Yep.
There was points throughout that game where I'm thinking to myself, I mean, something's got to happen. You know, they got to go down. You know, we wouldn't score. It was a defensive game, and we wouldn't score. And I thought, man, Buffalo. I mean, you know, there's only so many times you can give Buffalo a chance. You cannot let the Buffalo Bills hang around. And the defense continued to make play after play after play. So if the Jets can stop the Buffalo Bills, one of the better offenses, one of the best, if not the best offense in the National Football League, if we can stop them and we can have Zach Wilson, who, by the way, I don't want that to get overlooked. Everyone that was saying we need a new quarterback after the New England game, Zach Wilson played phenomenal against the Bills, one of the best defenses in football. I know they had a lot of injuries, but the Jets have a lot of injuries as well.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson can continue to play that well, and the defense can continue to be that lockdown. There's no way I can't see this team, you know, being in competition to being a 1 seed. You know, why can't they? Yeah, I mean, 6-3. They have a lot of big games down the stretch that they're going to have to win, but they are proving that they can win big football games.
100%. And Landon left us a comment here, and he's not a Jets fan. He does not believe in Zach Wilson. Almost completely different team, though, and he still is not playing good. At the same time, the Jets are in a rebuild stage still. Now, thanks for the comment, Landon, and I appreciate you. Like, in all actuality, man, I love somebody who's going to come in here and be 100% honest and direct. Not a Jets fan, doesn't like Zach Wilson, thinks he's trash. But he acknowledges that, like, the team is different. And even despite of our quarterback not playing, as he said, good, we're still winning games. Okay, so one, I agree 100%. We are still a team in the rebuild. We haven't. This isn't the final product yet. This is not the final product. I do believe that what we thought we were 2-3 years away, the Jets have now proven to us that we're maybe a year away, vice the 2 to 3 years. Like, these guys have developed so much faster than we anticipated that now we can sit here comfortably and be like, well, damn. So I was thinking it's going to take a couple years for, you know, Breece Hall to figure it out. It's going to take a couple years for Garrett Wilson to figure it out. Sauce Gardner, one of the defensive back and wide receiver, are two of the toughest positions to play other than quarterback. It takes a little while to kind of get into your groove. You've got Garrett Wilson playing at a Pro Bowl caliber level. You've got Sauce Gardner playing at all-pro caliber level. Breece Hall was playing at all-pro caliber level. They accelerated this rebuild significantly more so than any of us thought was going to be possible. The weak link right now on this team, two things. Legitimate weak link, because I know the safety position and the linebacker position are still going to be concerns, but I do like our linebackers now with Quan and Quincy back there. We need to bring those guys back next year because they have been playing their hearts out. The safety position, man, we've seen them take a couple of hits the last couple of weeks. But in terms of real concerns, our offensive line, because we have been playing with a patch-up offensive line. Like, we have. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they've still been able to go ahead and create holes in the running game. So I do like Max Mitchell. I think he could be the answer for us at right tackle. Elijah Vera Tucker is him. He's that guy. He can be the answer for us at any position we want him to be, really. But let's keep him at right guard because that's an all-pro caliber right guard. The left tackle position, left guard position are still up for debate here, right? We need to. We know Tomlinson was brought in to potentially shore that up, but he has not been playing that well. So I'm a little concerned about how Tomlinson's been playing. But the draft, I think we should be focusing on offensive line. I think that should be the priority for this coming draft. And the fact of the matter is, to have so many guys accelerating so quickly, it's a great position to be in, to go into the draft next year thinking, okay, we need to look at left tackle, left guard. I mean, premier positions, obviously. We're going to be picking pretty high, but we already saw Joe Douglas accumulating some assets with that trade he made with Martin. And something tells me he's already planning on having to move up into the draft. JD is already thinking about the draft, even though this team is playing lights out, and he knows we're going to finish too high to get somebody that they probably want. So let's go ahead and get some capital now. We can work on that bad boy later. But in terms of Zach Wilson being bad, I got to disagree, man. I can't. He just played his 19th game yesterday or Sunday. That 19th game was against the number one defense in the NFL. 70% completion percentage, highest of his career. 101 QBR rating, highest of his career. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Yes, 150 yards, not impressive. But he made big-time throws yet again to go ahead and get this team to the victory. And I'm not going to discount that. I think, it was last week, freaking Josh Allen even made this comment, and it was on Twitter, and it was Paul Boyd Green who shared it. And it was him pretty much stating, like, look, I know we got the Jets coming up, and right now Zach Wilson's taking a bunch of crap because of how he played. And he legitimately said these words. I mean, this is me paraphrasing, but he said, but I had a game that bad too in my year 2. I threw 3 interceptions against the Patriots, and to me, that was the turning point. That was the game that made me realize I did not have to force things and carry the team, and I had to go ahead and trust what my defense could do, what the offense could do, and that was the game that woke me up. And then since then, he believes is when he started showing real progress in the league. This is Josh Allen saying that about Zach Wilson, who he was going to be facing, obviously, this past Sunday. And a lot of people will say you can't compare Josh Allen to Zach Wilson, even though they both struggled in terms of accuracy and whatnot, because Josh Allen ran for like 800 yards and a bunch of rushing touchdowns. I get that. Zach Wilson is not built like Josh Allen either. He can't run and take the beating that Josh Allen can take. But in terms of arm strength, Zach Wilson is there. In terms of competition when they were in college, they're both right there. In terms of the ability to process the game and it taking them a little while, I would say they were both right there in terms of like year 1 to year 2 comparably. The only big difference is Josh Allen is just a freak athlete that could run and use his legs. Zach Wilson is mobile. He's athletic. He's not Josh Allen, freak athlete athletic. So what do you think about Landon's comments here in regards to the Jets?
I read it when he had first put it in there, whatever. As far as the rebuild, I agree with what you're saying. We're still kind of in rebuild mode, but it's been expedited, it's been sped up solely because of the quick development that we've seen from a lot of the guys, and I think I 100% agree with you. The offensive line is definitely number one as far as
priorities.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I will say this: when you look at Zach Wilson's numbers when he's not under pressure, they're unreal. They're unreal.
I'm glad you brought
so
that.
I'm going to say that's why I'm saying the offensive line is the number one priority. And this is weird because it's week 9 and I don't want to talk about the draft. I don't want to talk about the draft.
100%.
It's weird. I don't know, but I will say that going into the draft, it's definitely. I was looking earlier in the year. There's a guy from Georgia and a guy from Alabama that I was really looking at. He was looking to go in the mid-teens. And that was who I had wanted. But I completely disregarded that. I don't even care about the draft anymore. but it definitely is offensive line. Zach Wilson, I am a bit my son. That's my dad there calling me the clown in the Indy hoodie. But he's always telling me that yeah, maybe Zach Wilson's not the. And I'm a huge Zach Wilson supporter. I have
Same
been
here.
from day one.
I am too.
I hate that. Look, this is the thing. I'm a New York Jets fan. I'm a fan of New York teams, but I'm not a New York sports fan. Let me tell you something. New York sports fans are very impatient with their sports teams. Zach Wilson, 19 games into the year, and they want him leading us to the Super Bowl like he's Joe Namath in '69. You know what I'm saying? We got to be patient with these guys. He showed a huge leap, in my opinion, this past, because this is the thing, and this is another. I think fantasy football and things like that have completely ruined how people value quarterbacks.
100%.
We're looking at Zach Wilson, who there was a third down play, and rather than throwing it away or trying to force something, he's running it up the middle, getting the first down, living to breathe another day. He didn't do that last week. He's learning. He took a sack at the end of the game rather than throwing it away, made Buffalo use their last timeout.
Facts.
Kick the field goal. Now Buffalo's got to drive down the field and do it without any timeouts. So he's making plays. I thought those were some veteran plays that you see from high level guys. I don't expect Zach Wilson to be Josh Allen now, the rest of the season. I don't expect that at all. I expect what he did this past Sunday against the best defense in football and continue to just make the big plays. Make the third down throw to Denzel Mims there at the end of the game.
Beautiful.
Huge. Big time.
Beautiful.
Both sides, Denzel and Zach Wilson. Continue to do that, and the Jets are going to win football games, and the Jets are going to be playing football in January. And I will say this. I was too young in 2010. I was like 7 years old. I was 7 years old in 2010. I've never watched the Jets make the playoffs. I've never watched the Jets play in January. Dear Lord, it's happening this year.
I'm sorry, but I had a chance to watch the AFC Championship game both times, man. It's been too long. It's been too long. It really has. And it wasn't like it was one of those things where like gradually the team declined and then we fell out of favor. We just off a cliff. We went playoffs, AFC Championship game, cliff. That's it. You're not going to see it again for a while. Like that to me was unexpected. But that team was also built different. It was bought, not built, as I like to go ahead and say it in terms of Coach Rex Ryan, one of the most beloved Jets coaches there is to this day. I love that guy. He brought a lot of guys from the Ravens, you know what I'm saying? Like guys who were already culture fits and knew his defense. And I'm not saying that there wasn't a lot of coaching going on, but it was a little bit easier of a process because when you're bringing in people that's already familiar with you, your system, those players are going to go ahead and get the younger guys rallied around them and whatnot, and it's going to get things to happen. In this case, man, we've got a bunch of young guys rallying each other. And I think coaching is so huge. And I think at the beginning of the season, a lot of us, again, like you said, Jets fans, like New York fans in general, like that New York fan bases are so impatient. And it's just, it's mind-boggling, man, because Zach played his 19th game this past Sunday and won against the best team in the NFL, a Super Bowl favorite. In fact, he won that game, and now what Josh Allen was once the MVP favorite is no longer the MVP favorite. Yes, I get that it was a collective of the defense and all that stuff going into work, but the other quarterback on the other side of the ball was Zach Wilson, who played flawless football. He played flawless football against the number one defense in the NFL. And for people that want to just quit on him, man, I'll never understand it. And I think because of the guys like Justin Herbert, the guys like Patrick Mahomes, who when he finally got out there, by the way, in year 2 and lit it up, they're impatient. Those guys have kind of like spoiled the game a little bit because people just assume like, oh man, you're a top pick in the NFL. You're a first rounder. You should automatically figure this thing out. Yeah. You should know it. And that's just not the case, man. There's the exceptions vice the rule. And Zach Wilson is showing progression. Even from last year, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, he showed progression. From last year to this year, he's shown progression. I don't need him to throw for 300 yards in the game and freaking like get fantasy football numbers and make everybody happy. I don't give a damn about that. I'll take 158 yards, 1 touchdown, 70% completion rate. He can manage these games for all I care because this defense is that good. This running game is that good. We don't need our quarterback to have to carry the team. We just don't. And people don't understand that, man. Like you said, it's just an impatient fan base. And Yeah, Zach Wilson, I think, is only going to keep getting better. The press conference he had last week, I don't know if you saw it, and I was going to go ahead and clip it and put it on here, but I got caught in traffic, and I was not missing today's episode like I did last week. But he was sitting there, and he was talking, and people were, like, agitated with him because he appeared to be, as they put it, like he was just being arrogant or a little bit hostile, or he was mad. Our quarterback was pissed off because he knew we lost that game because of him. He wasn't naive to that. To see him show it in a press conference, Vice, giving you the old Coach Salah treatment where everything's okay, positive vibes. He was like, man, being professional about it, I'm pissed. And he let people know, and people were upset about that. To me, I was just like, hell yeah. Good. You should be pissed because we're pissed. We're mad. We're mad about it. I'm glad you're mad about it too. And he said, when they asked him, like, oh, man, well, you just got destroyed by, he was like, we'll play them again. Play them again in 2 weeks. Like, he already knew, like, I'm going to destroy these motherfuckers in 2 weeks because this game was lost on me. But, I don't want him to destroy them. I want him to just win. Just win. Play like you did against Buffalo. Make the throws when you got to. Did you watch the tape of the Patriots game? I don't know if you went back and watched it.
No, I couldn't go back and watch that. That was the worst game I've ever watched Zach Wilson play. That was brutal.
It was bad.
I couldn't go back and watch it. I could not. That was too many bad vibes there.
I won't lie to you. It was bad. But I will tell you this. Our guys got open at will. It actually pissed me off more when I went back and I saw just how easy Garrett Wilson got open. Just how easy C.J. Uzama got open. How easy Conklin. Bro, at will, I kid you not, got open. And Zach was trying to do too much. He was looking for the big play. The first read, second read, the checkdowns, they were all open at any given time, but he kept looking for the big play every single time. I think he wanted to be the reason they won that game, vice being a part of winning that game. I'm 100% positive that Coach Salah and Coach LaFleur got in his ass, and he understands now, look, we're not doing this here, bro. You're not there yet. You're still developing. You got a ways to go. And lucky for you, you don't need to be there yet because we've got a team around you that can get us the W. Stack up the W's. He's 5-1 since coming back this year. 4-1.
Yeah.
No, 5-1.
5-1.
4. We won.
Is it? I thought it was 5. I thought.
No,
it was 4-0 going to
Joe got one. He beat Cleveland, so he's 4-1. Nope, 5-1. You're right. 5-1.
I think.
So
regardless, he's doing great.
He's doing great. We're winning games with him at the helm.
Right.
But he needs to stay off of social media or something because I think he heard a lot of people talking about like, yeah, we won, but is he the one? Like he hasn't done anything special. We saw him throw for multiple touchdowns. We saw him throw for freaking 300+ yards. We lost the game. And I hope that was a wake-up call for him because winning games are more important to the fan base and to that team than patent stats for fantasy football, like, football watchers. I'm sorry. I don't expect this kid right now in year 2 to be the reason we win games. I'd rather him be the reason we don't lose them because the team around him is just that good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm watching that press conference after the Patriots game, and I'm sitting here, and I'm furious because of how poorly he played. I mean, if he plays, but we lost the game because of Wilson, and we did.
100%.
And that was a hard pill to swallow as a big Zach Wilson believer because you're sitting there and you're like, and you have to listen to all the other Jets fans on Twitter, man, Zach Wilson's not the guy. And now you're kind of questioning Zach Wilson and the ability for him to lead us to the playoffs this season. And I'm watching that press conference and hearing him say, I don't look at stats. We play these guys in 2 weeks. Just things like that made me very hopeful because if he's going out there and he's going to say, oh, yeah, man, it's a good football team. We're going to look back at the film. I don't want that. All right. I'm upset. I want to see a little fire. Facts. All right. I want to see a little fire from you. Same with Sam Darnold. I was a big Sam Darnold believer for the longest time, but seeing him play poorly and then go into press conferences and, the same, we're going to go look at film, get back at it next week. It would infuriate me. I want to see a little fire underneath you and a little desire to win football games. And Zach Wilson showed that and then came out this past Sunday and lit it up. And he did very well. He outperformed Josh Allen, in my opinion. 100%. A perennial MVP candidate. So that's something as a Jets fan that you got to be looking at and thinking, I think we got our guy at quarterback, and I still believe that we have our guy at the quarterback position.
Yeah, no, I refuse to give up on this kid 19 games into his career. I refuse. he has shown us enough in terms of upside with pure arm talent that he is worth developing and just moving forward with him, because he makes throws that I shit you not. He makes throws that 4 other quarterbacks in this league can make. It's insane. And when you see them, you're like, damn, that was awesome. That was special. And for you to look at that and not think, okay, once he puts it all together up here and he can do it more consistently, like the ability for him to go ahead and do that special throw once or twice a game when he's being more efficient, bro, that is too invaluable for you to quit on a kid 19 games in. I refuse to do it, and I don't understand those who want to do it.
I'm with you. Because the errors he makes are, I don't want to say not bad, but you know,
coachable.
They're coachable. That's the perfect word.
Yeah,
That's the perfect word. Perfect word. They're easy fixes. They're easy fixes, in my opinion. He's a little tall on a couple receivers. He's throwing it too high, throwing it a little too short on a couple receivers out of the backfield, like he did to the Barrios this past weekend. Throwing the ball away. Get the ball out of your hands. Run for the first. I mean, they're easy, coachable, very fixable mistakes.
Facts.
And we saw that this past week. It looked like a completely different quarterback this past Sunday than against the New England Patriots. And I see in the comments there the Bill Belichick. He did it against the Bill Belichick, who is known for terrorizing young quarterbacks. Bill Belichick does it to every young quarterback he comes across. And realistically, he'll probably do it again when we play the Patriots again. He will probably give Zach Wilson hell. But you have to Bill Belichick. Let's go back. We're not going back to the drawing board at quarterback over one game.
No.
And just continue to be patient with this guy because he's only in year 2.
He's lost one game this year. He's lost one freaking game this year. Landon with another comment, and I love this one because I've literally been saying this a lot. And again, I'm always the homer, so to see that Landon is not a Jets fan, he's already made that abundantly clear. He says, it scares me that your roster is not 100% where it needs to be, and you are a top 6 or 7 team in this league. And defense is top 2, and they ain't 2 in my opinion. Thank you, Landon. I appreciate you. And it's rare to see other people outside of the fan base just admit that, because he's right. He's 100% right. Our team right now is, I would say, at 70%, 75% max.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the quality talent we have on the roster. And we have another draft ahead of us, free agency coming. People are already trying to come here. And now I think when they start seeing like this team is not at 100%. We're at 70 to 75% capacity. And we're a top 6 to 7 team in the league right now. In our defense, I 100% believe we're the number 1 defense in the league. Even though statistically speaking right now, I think we're number 3. Based off of the current updates, number 3, I think it's Philadelphia. It's still Buffalo somehow. And then it's us. It goes Philadelphia, Buffalo, then Jets when I saw the last stats yesterday. But, man, Landon is right, man. Because I think stopping Josh Allen and holding that Buffalo's freaking offense to a season low in 17 points is telling. I think stopping freaking Aaron Rodgers has been just looking like crap now, so I was really happy about that game, and then now we see him just going off of a cliff, so I guess everybody can stop him. But you've seen these guys make some stops against, like quality players in terms of the Jamar Chases, you know what I'm saying, the Tyreek Hills, the Mark Andrews for the Baltimore Ravens. Like, this defense has held elite individuals, i.e. Sauce Gardner has held elite individuals to being non-existent in certain games. It is scary. It is scary, Landon. You're 100% right. And to be on this side of it as a Jets fan, it's just so exciting because it's been a decade. It's been a decade to where, like, this kind of respect that you're showing us, we've seen from other fan base. Anybody else in another fan base. We've been the joke of the NFL for so long. So I appreciate your comment, man. So what do you think about the Jets being a top 2 defense, but in terms of Landon, we're the number 1 defense?
I mean, here's how I look at it, I think we proved that our defense is better than Buffalo's this past. To be fair, they were missing Milano and
Poyer and Milano.
Poyer and Tre'Davious White obviously still.
With Milano out, I think I saw a really crazy stat how important he is to that team, man. With Milano out, they allow 10 more points per game than when he's in. It's like 17 to 27, something like that. Something ridiculous. 10 more points. So that's a huge, impactful player in the middle. And you wouldn't think a linebacker would have that kind of like that's a huge swing. But apparently, based off of the stats, when he's not out, when he's in the games, they're allowing 10 points less. When he's out, 10 points more. So that says a lot. But that defensive line was intact. Their DBs were intact. So they were operating at, I would say, 90%, 85% capacity on defense.
Yeah, I mean the Jets' run game late in the game just dominated the defensive front for Buffalo, and I'm thinking to myself, who's doing this to Buffalo? Imagine if Breece Hall's playing in the game. It's what's unreal to me. There's so many runs that I'm looking at, and I'm like, man, imagine if Breece is out there that can get to that second level.
No, I did the same thing. If Breece ran that, he scores. If Breece did, he scores, bruh.
And it's no disrespect to James Robinson and Michael Carter. They did so well. They did so well in this game. But looking at the Jets' defense, I mean, who's making Josh Allen look that bad? Who is making him look that bad? So they're definitely in the argument for number one. And I think that's very fair to put him at number one because, I mean, realistically, who's Philadelphia played? They've had a really cupcake schedule, in my opinion.
Really have. They have.
And so I think the Jets, saying they're the best defense in football, I have no problem with that. Again, maybe that's my homer side coming in.
Right.
But I have no issue saying the Jets are the best defense in football because, realistically, I mean, no one's doing that to Josh Allen.
Yeah, man. I think at the end of the day, you said it perfectly right. Philadelphia Eagles, they have had a cupcake schedule. They've only faced one top 10 defense in their 8-game winning streak, and that was the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's been impressive. At the end of the day, winning 8 games in this league and being undefeated, that's hard to do. It's very difficult to do. Credit where credit is due. But in terms of like, come on, stop it. In terms of like the quality of players they faced, I think their defense hasn't been tested yet, in all actuality. And Crimson Wolf, appreciate the comment, man. First time here, really love the vibe. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. I appreciate that. This is me and Jet's second time together on the stream, and the chemistry is just natural. It's easy. So again, Jet, appreciate you coming out, brother. Thanks, Crimson.
I love being on here, man. I love being on here. This is an absolute blast. Like I said, right here in Indiana, not a lot of Jets fans you can just sit down, talk to. So being around you, being around the chat who are big Jets fans, I mean, this is awesome. I love coming on here whenever you have me.
Mike Garrett said, "Who's the clown in the ND hoodie?" Seems like he's big JETS fan.
I had to rep the Irish. The Irish also big win against Clemson this past Saturday.
That was a good one. What we got here? We got a lot of comments. I'm way behind on this. I've been talking to you. I forgot that we got to engage with the audience a little bit. In the future, would we consider moving AVT back to LG and keeping Herbig at right tackle? Well, what would you do with Max Mitchell is my question to that, Nathan. So Max Mitchell, I think, has shown us enough in a very small sample size, of course, that he can play on that right side, whether it's right tackle, right guard, and I won't lie, man. I've been impressed with Herbig as well. I didn't think he was going to play this well, but he's actually played pretty well. AVT at left guard, his natural position, I'm not opposed to that. It's just that we gave so much money to Tomlinson. What do you do with Tomlinson? Right? You brought him in to be a left guard. He's supposed to be here for the next 3 years as that guy that helps solidify this offensive line. And he's played mid, right? He's played kind of mid, and I think that's concerning. So I don't know if you took Tomlinson out, AVT to the left, Max Mitchell at right guard, I guess, Herbig at right tackle because he's looked pretty good there. Dwayne Brown or freaking Becton or whoever the hell we draft at left tackle. I don't know, man. This is a tough question to answer because Tomlinson has not played up to par. He just hasn't been the guy that we thought we were getting when we brought him in. Even though I was excited for it, I thought it was a A+ signing. We haven't really seen him perform to the level that we expected. What would you do in this case, man? What would you do, Jet?
Yeah, I'm a big Mekhi Becton fan.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that people have written him off. And I think when he comes back from injury, I think he's going to. I mean, the dude's huge. He's massive. He's massive. He dominates at the offensive line. And so I think, I wouldn't mind Herbig as a backup. I think Herbig would be a backup and he's been playing great. Don't get me wrong. He really has been playing great. But I mean, it's a good problem to have. I think usually we're arguing about practice squad guys as to who we should be playing. Now we have guys that are legitimate starters in the NFL that can play these positions, and it's a good problem to have. But I mean, we get Max Mitchell back after the bye. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. Him and George Fant apparently too.
And Fant, yeah. So I mean, hopefully you can see those improvements right after the bye. But I mean, moving forward, I really want Mekhi Becton to come back and do well. But I still think drafting offensive line is the guy, is the play in the draft.
I 100% agree. I think we got to go through the draft to solidify the line. And again, I'm with you, man. I'm still a big Mekhi Becton fan. Like, I really believe a healthy Mekhi Becton in this line. I would leave Tomlinson at left guard if Mekhi Becton is back. I think center might be the only thing where I feel like we need to make a move on. Let's bring our boy AVT back to right guard. And at right tackle, I really like Max Mitchell, man. It's, again, small sample size. But, man, that kid, great technique. The biggest concern with him was, could he have the play strength necessary to keep up in the league? I guess he's been hitting the gym, you know what I'm saying, eating his Wheaties, because he didn't seem to have an issue with it whatsoever, in his limited starts. So I would like him at right tackle. And I think, again, coming into this year, we were talking about having a top 10 offensive line. I think with that caliber of a line, top 10 to top 5, if they continue to gel. Mekhi Becton, man, like, I know it's been a while since we've seen him play, but his rookie year was the stuff of legends. Right? This kid was manhandling grown men who've been in this league for a while, and he made it look effortless, right? It was just the cardio was a little concerning. We knew he's a big-ass dude, so he needs to go ahead and get that thing. But he made it look easy when he was out there just pancaking people. So it's hard for me to give up on a guy like Mekhi Becton as well. You know what I'm saying? The guy with the franchise left tackle talent, we just haven't seen the consistency and the ability to stay on the field. That sucks. So, but I agree. I don't know if we can bet on that going into next year. I don't want to be the guy that says, Mekhi Becton's our guy. I don't know if he's dependable enough. So I think we've got to go another position when it comes to the tackle spot next year. But I don't know. I think Herbig being our freaking backup, our swing tackle, I think we're winning there. I think that's a winning situation. Nathan Kamara, what is still stinging me, but finally we turning it around and should be sustainable this time because of Mad King JD and Salah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know if you caught it earlier, Nathan, but we were talking about this, how young this team is. And how well they've just put it all together and how fast they're developing. This is in a situation where I was talking to my wife the other day, because right now the Packers obviously are in a bad state, right? They had to pay Aaron Rodgers all that money, and in essence they didn't have anything left to bring him weapons, right? Devontae Adams decided to leave, and you see the impact of when, a roster that is built for the playoffs year in and year out has to go ahead and just empty the bank, to keep a franchise quarterback. And we don't have to worry about that for 3 more years. Literally, we don't have to worry, and then we don't have to pay any of our youthful guys for the next 2 to 3 years. That's a unique position to be in, because the impact players right now who would warrant the most money, wide receiver, cornerback, quarterback, right? Edge.
Right.
Those are the big money guys you got to pay. And we have that rare luxury of saying, like, we don't have to pay any of you guys yet because you're all young. We've got y'all on lock for the next 3 to 4 years. And that's what I think is such a benefit, because I look at the Buffalo Bills roster, and the Buffalo Bills, they bought their roster. They didn't build it. So next year, I think Josh Allen's cap hits almost like $50 million. And that's big. And everybody will tell you the cap is fake and blah, blah, blah. Well, tell the Rams the cap is fake, because they have zero depth behind the people they've dumped money into. Zero depth. Tell the Saints the cap is fake. It made Sean Payton retire and leave the game because they were lost with what they were going to do. People just because we've seen some teams get away with it for a little while and be able to kick the can down the road, so to speak. They believe like, oh, the cap is fake. No, the cap is very real. At some point or another, it's all going to come back to fruition. And next year, Buffalo is going to have some huge cap hits. And right now, they're the best team in the AFC East, but they have a limited window. The Jets have a wide open window between now, 5 years from now, before.
Right.
All right, man, we got too much talent. We got to start paying all these guys, and we can't pay all these guys. So it's a great position to be in. And yeah, I agree with you 100%, Nathan, man. Very sustainable. What we got here? Hey, New York, you got any leftovers from last night? Oh, yeah, yo, okay, weed the people. So I got home yesterday from Vegas. We were supposed to be back on Sunday, but flight issues and whatnot. We wound up coming back yesterday. And I wanted Victory Monday dinner. So the wife and I were talking on the plane, and we decided I was going to make my sausage and peppers pasta when I got here. So I made 3 boxes. Baby, you still here? Yeah. How many boxes of pasta did I? 3 boxes of pasta. The RAO pasta. So that's that good stuff. I don't use that like generic crap. I use RAO, the RAO pasta. That's like authentic Italian. Like it's just beautifully done. And we crushed it last night. It was delicious. I get home today thinking I'm going to get some leftovers too, weed. And my wife was able to go ahead and keep a little small bowl aside for me because my kids are savages and they ate pretty much all of it. So I'm eating I'm eating when I get home before I got on the show. They ate all the sausages, man. All I had left was a few peppers and a little bit of the rigatoni. They crushed all the sausage and they're like, "Oh, you left your dinner, Dad." I'm like, "Y'all some bums." But nah, man, it's all gone, bro. Like I will say this. I think the next time I go to a game in New York, I'm going to hook up with proud New York Jets fan, Nick, and he's always doing big things and cooking and tailgating. I'm going to make my sausage and peppers pasta because I shared that video on Twitter just to share it because I was happy to be back home from Vegas, and I got a whole bunch of DMs like, "Bro, that looks delicious. What's the recipe like?" And I'm like, "Well, damn. All right, I'm gonna have to make this whenever I go to another game." But yeah, it's all gone, bro. It's all gone. Let's see here. We got Dark Soldier. Here's a stat that most people tend to look past when looking for the New England game. Hold on, wait. There it is. Bill Belichick is 42-3 against rookie in second year. God damn. Seriously? 42-3? It's like that?
I believe it. He destroys
he
destroys young quarterbacks. It's unreal.
My God, 42-3. And what's crazy is like when you go back and you watch that tape of the Patriots game, it wasn't like they were shutting down or covering the receivers. He had wide open weapons, but Zach Wilson saw ghosts. Apparently, he just couldn't put it all together. But 42-3, God, that's insane. Okay, yeah, no, that's a stat. That's a stat. I do believe. Now, you know what? I'm glad this was brought up. So what do you think the Jets are going to do against the Patriots next week?
Man, I don't know. I mean, luckily we just played them a couple weeks ago, so the film is rather new.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, receivers were getting open. You know, the problem was realistically just Zach Wilson.
Facts.
Also, that was week 1 of having James Robinson in there as well as Michael Carter. It was kind of post no AVT as well as no Breece Hall. So still kind of figuring some things out there.
Right.
I mean, if we run the ball like we did this past weekend and Zach Wilson makes the plays and sees the open receivers and makes, hits, he waits too long to throw the ball at times. I think, try, like you said, making the big play.
Yep.
That just doesn't need to be made. If he can just get out of that for one game against the Patriots and make it 42-4 or 42-4, I mean, I think it's very, very doable because I don't think defense will be an issue. It's just going to be Zach Wilson hitting his guys while they're open, and the running backs now they're comfortable taking on the role that they have unexpectedly had to take on at this point.
I feel you. I do believe the pure fact that if Zach Wilson throws one less turnover, the Jets legitimately win that game. One less turnover, just win that game. Mac Jones looks like he isn't what they thought he was. And one of the guys that I kind of watched as well, that's a Patriots YouTuber, Master at Work, big advocate of getting rid of Mac Jones. Thinks he's a bum. And he's one of the few like Patriots fans that like when you see him analyze his own team, he'll be real about it. I don't agree with him in the whole Zappy situation. I think Zappy might be a little bit overrated, but he's very adamant about Mac Jones being a bum. And as such, you saw that against the Jets. Mac Jones was just he wasn't good. He was just better than Zach was. And Zach played himself right into a loss. So I do believe the Jets are going to win that game. And I'm actually going to say something that I was going to save purely for my video. I'll go into more detail on it on my weekly video when I put it out there on Thursday. But so we've just celebrated our Victory Monday this past week. Jets are 6-3, second in the AFC East, fifth in the AFC in general. Buffalo Bills, number one in the AFC East. I'm telling you on Monday, the New York Jets are going to have another Victory Monday. And they didn't have to play a single game to do it. I am confident that the Minnesota Vikings is going to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, yeah.
I am confident that the Cleveland Browns is going to beat the Miami Dolphins. And people are going to think I'm insane for saying it. But I got a whole video on why. But I'm saying it now. Just be prepared. The video will be out probably on Thursday. I'll probably put it out before the Thursday night game. We're going to be celebrating again on Monday, Victory Monday, next week, because the New York Jets will literally enter next week as the AFC East leaders. And
About that.
it's going to be insane to think as we go.
10 weeks.
Bro. Literally, bro. And then we're going to go to Gillette Stadium, and I think we're going to go ahead and beat the Patriots. I was looking at the rest of our remaining schedule. And again, it's football. Any given Sunday. I'm not that guy that's going to say, we're going to go undefeated. We're going to lose a couple of games. I already know we're going to. But in terms of losing them because we're not the better team on the field, I would say maybe Buffalo is the only team that I think, like, in terms of, like, player for player, like, they are more proven in terms of talent. I'm not saying they're better, but they're more proven in terms of talent. And Dakota here makes it perfectly. He says the Miami fans still think they are it on us. But this defense is crazy. And, man, I got a whole other theory about the Miami Dolphins offense as well that I think pissed off a couple of people today when I just shared that with them on Miami Dolphins freaking, like, Twitter pages. But the Miami Dolphins, man, like, yes, props where props are due. Tua has exceeded expectations. Tua is right now, I think, fourth in the league in terms of like QBR. No, I'm sorry, passing yards, number one in accuracy, number one in QBR. 100%. You got Tyreek Hill right now, who's leading the league with 1,100 freaking receiving yards. He's on track for 2,000, which is just insane. They're not giving enough credit to Coach McDaniel, and they're really, really high on Tua being somehow, some way in year 3 this elite guy that can now throw the ball 60 yards down the field, and that's how it's happening. It's almost as if nobody that's a Dolphins fan understands the concept of timing routes and scripted plays. And I got a video coming out on that as well that breaks down a bit more of their offense and why they're top 10 in the NFL in terms of scoring in the first half, and then bottom 10 in the NFL in the second half when it comes to scoring. Pretty cool statistic, and when you watch the tape, it starts to become a little bit more clearer. Video coming out for that one probably on Saturday since I ain't got no Jets game to talk about. But you were going to say something, man, and I interrupted you, man. What were you going to say?
Honestly, I don't even remember. But it's to kind of piggyback on that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, all Mike McDaniel. I mean, Tua's, he's all right. You got to give credit where credit's due. But people saying that he's better than Herbert, that's where you lose me.
Yep,
that's where you lose me. He's not better than Herbert. He's got more talent around him than Herbert. I mean, he's got 2 top 10 receivers there.
Facts.
He's got a good team around him and a great head coach in Mike McDaniel. It sucks that McDaniel's there in Miami because I want to like him. He's a funny guy.
I do like.
I refuse to like him though.
But I like him. I refuse to root for him because he's the Miami coach.
Right.
Right. You're right. It's hard to look at that guy to Miami. If he was our offensive coordinator, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. And I think LaFleur's done a really good job. But I really believe McDaniel was probably the guy we should have went after in terms of offensive genius. Because, like, the things that I've watched him do with the Miami Dolphins, it's the ability to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your players, maximize the strengths, and just disappear the weaknesses. It's magic. It's literally magic. And he's not getting enough credit, man. They're like, oh, man, Tua is this, Tua is that. Stop it. Tua's always been accurate. He's always been precise. Timing routes, when you have a quarterback like that, go a long way to helping him look better on the field. Not to mention, having 2 all-pro wide receivers doesn't hurt either. But there's a reason why they can start off fast and they can't finish fast. Like, there's a reason why they're top 10 in the league in terms of scoring in the first half and bottom 10 in the league in the second half. Once those scripted plays, you know what I'm saying, disappear, or once defenses adjust and those timing routes are getting taken away and it's Tua having to, hey, figure it out and freaking ad-lib a little bit, the struggles start to happen. The offense stutters. And it's not a bad thing. He's a great systems quarterback. McDaniel made an incredible system that he fits perfectly in. But to say stuff like he's better than Herbert, to say stuff like, oh, he's throwing guys wide open, no, stop it. You're taking away from the talent of those wide receivers and the offensive genius that is McDaniel, which is a disservice, actually, because Tua legitimately is still the weak link to what this team can be because they do have some pretty amazing talent on offense. But I digress. Not our problem. I'm looking forward to playing them again, and I'm hoping Tua's there because then hopefully, well, knowing Jets fans, it won't shut them up. But nonetheless, I feel pretty confident about playing the Dolphins, you know what I'm saying, for the last game of the season.
Right.
Dakota says, we will beat the Patriots We will beat the Patriots final time around to prove to them we are here. We will beat the Patriots. We will beat the Patriots this time around to prove to them that we are here to stay. I agree. I do believe the Jets are going to go into Gillette Stadium and smack around the Patriots.
I think it's time to end the coin flip.
Bro, it's legit. The coin flip's been great.
It's time to end it.
I actually tweeted this earlier. I was like, man, coin flip's been on point, but he's got us losing against Chicago and losing against freaking the Patriots. I'm over losing to the Patriots, man.
I can't take that.
I just refuse. We're not going to go another season knowing that they swept us and not happening. We already took that away from the Dolphins, took it away from the Buffalo Bills. We're taking one away from the freaking Patriots. And I know people were like, well, you wouldn't give an AFC Championship game to lose to the Patriots, and I'm like, I want both. Call me greedy, but I want both.
Why can't we have both? Why can't we have both this year?
Let's beat the Patriots. Give us another L along the lineage of the coin.
Oh, yeah.
But the Patriots just can't be one of them. I'm okay with losing to Chicago. People are like, you're crazy. Okay, Justin Fields has played some pretty good ball in terms of using his legs. He's pretty much playing 1 on 11 this last freaking 3 weeks. He's decided, all right, I don't got no weapons. Fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and just do it with my legs. And he's done it, bro. Like, I was sitting here watching the Miami Dolphins game, and I'm like, this kid's about to single-handedly beat the Miami Dolphins. And on the sideline, when he ran for a first down, and this is why it's hard to not like McDaniel.
Exactly.
He was like, stop it. Like, you could see him yelling at Justin Fields, stop it, man. Stop doing what you're doing. They didn't have an answer for him, man. And so any given Sunday, you can be beat. But as long as we beat the Patriots, I'm okay with giving up one other loss that takes us to the AFC the AFC Championship game. We ate Josh Allen up like lunch meat, and Mac Jones is done for this time around. Count it. I hope so, Dakota. I hope you're right. I would love nothing more than for us to come off of this bye week leading the AFC East because of the losses that the Bills took and the losses that the Dolphins took. And we go into freaking Gillette Stadium and to just cement our lead in the AFC East, smack around the Patriots. That to me, just call that my Christmas gift, and I'll be a very, very happy guy. Very, very happy guy. Man, I'm behind on a lot of comments, bro. First game, we definitely let get away from us. Buffalo, we went out there and showed the world who we truly are. Patriots better keep laughing at us. Yeah. Nah. What do you got to say about that, Jet?
Yeah, I mean, first game, and again, I still kind of believe if Zach Wilson's playing in that game against the Ravens, I think we win because I thought the defense played very well.
They did play pretty well.
they held Lamar Jackson to season lows. They held Mark Andrews to season. Obviously, Mark Andrews dealing with the injury now, so whatever. But
When he was healthy,
really did well against a very good offense, in my opinion. And it was just the quarterback play, obviously, that struggled. The offense struggled really badly that game. Let the Ravens hang around. I think if Wilson's playing in that game, I think the Jets won the game. So that's frustrating to kind of look at, and they did let it get away from them a little bit. But what are you going to do? We're coming off a Bills win, so it's kind of like, okay, we'll look backup quarterback losing to the Ravens, starting quarterback being the best team in football.
Talking Jets with Tigo. What's up, Tigo? They ran the same run play 4 times in the last drive. Buffalo had no answers. Nah, he's right. They were just trying to go ahead and figure it out because they couldn't get Josh Allen comfortable back there, man. That defensive line played lights out. That secondary locking down, Davis and Diggs, I think played lights out. Like you can't take away from what those guys accomplished this past week. And I mean, no matter how much you want to talk about, like, well, their defense was this, that, and the other, we held that high-powered offense to 17 points, their season low, and they were all healthy. Everybody was healthy until Bryce Huff destroyed Josh Allen's arm towards the end, but everybody came into that game healthy, and we still held the offense to 17 points. So to tell me the defense isn't real, like, come on, like you're blatantly just somebody who just despises the Jets. It's just that simple. Dom, what's up, Dom? Always a pleasure to see you guys here. Soldier. We have any questions? Because I know we're already over the hour mark. Did I not call it, Gunny? Good call. 21. It was 20-17. Is this Gus? Gus, is this you? Because Gus actually called it perfectly, 20-17. He actually won the Darrelle Revis autographed mini poster. I'm sending that out to the UK on Thursday, Gus. If you're watching this, I'm going to have it in the mail for you and tracking number in your DMs on Thursday. Called the game perfectly, 20-17, New York Jets. I don't think, unless he changed his screen name, I don't think that's Gus. Dom, Ulbrich needs his props, called the perfect game. 100%. 100%. And I'll be the first to admit that early on, I was calling for Ulbrich's head. I thought that with all the talent that he had early on, we looked exactly the same. And, I've since eaten my receipts. Ulbrich he's figured it out. He understands how to maximize these weapons. And I think, Dom, you nailed it on the head. Ulbrich needs his props. Respect the coach, Ulbrich, and I do sincerely apologize for initially wanting your ass fired. I was wrong, and I digress. How are you feeling about Ulbrich with the beginning of the season?
Beginning of the season, I thought there was a lot of. I thought we gave up the middle of the field way too much. I thought that's where we got beat. When I'm listening I'm watching the Bills play, early in the year, and I'm thinking when we got to play the Bills, Josh Allen's just going to tear up the New York Jets because we can't give up. We continue to give up the middle of the field, but like you said, I've had to eat my words a little bit because Ulbrich's done phenomenal the last few weeks. The only thing that frustrates me about the defense is our third down defense. We cannot get off the field on so many drives, and it's frustrating. It is insanely frustrating because these aren't just third and short plays. They're 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 9s, and we just can't get off the field, and it's very frustrating. But outside of that, I thought Ulbrich's done very, very well in the last few weeks, and I'm loving to watch this defense continue to go out every single Sunday and eat.
Yeah, man, I think they have to figure that part out, though. And this is why I think the Justin Fields, like the Chicago Bears game, worries me a little bit. Because he is, I would say, this generation's Michael Vick, right? Him and Lamar Jackson can do stuff with their legs that are just elite. And I think Justin just broke the NFL record for a running back in terms of rushing yards against the Miami Dolphins. Again, that defense is quite porous. It's a paper bag. But nonetheless, it's something for the young quarterback to gain confidence from, to trust his legs just a little bit more. And I think that's what we should be worried about as a fan base going into that game the following week. Because they don't have any weapons that should scare us in terms of receiving. Their defensive line is meh. But Justin Fields, Yeah, the dude might not be the best thrower of the football, but he can make plays with his legs. And we've seen, like you said, man, like third down, we can't get off the field. We just can't. And a lot of it has come off of running plays. I mean, Josh Allen got 2 running scores on us this past week. I mean, granted, I'd rather give that up than the big play, 100%. Well, I guess they were big plays since they scored on us, but in terms of like, over the top. But like, it's just one of those things where we've got to find a way to get off the field on third down more consistently, because that kills motivation, that kills drive, that kills momentum. To know that you did a great job first, second down, third, and on third down we give up the 10 to 15 yards for a freaking first down. That's been frustrating. That's been beyond frustrating. So I think these guys are just talking to each other now at this point. Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, here we go. Oh wait, is that your dad? If Beckham,
Who's that?
Ryan Jett?
No, that's not. No.
No.
My dad was Mike that called me a clown in the Notre Dame hoodie.
Earlier on? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so if Becton actually came back and just played a whole season, that would be insane. Yeah, I agree. I think we both just said it. We like Becton. We like his talent. We like his upside. But it doesn't mean anything, man, if the kid can't be on the field. Becton in this offensive scheme specifically would be dominant. Would just be pure dominance. But we can't really depend on him, going into next year as being the guy. And I think that's where my hesitance is as a Jets fan, to just be like, yeah, let's go ahead and gamble and we'll get a center, and then we'll just gamble that, Becton will be back. I think Dwayne Brown's going to retire after this year. I don't think he's coming back next year. Just purely based off of, him dealing with the injuries and whatnot, and him saying he wanted to finish this thing out. And if the Jets make a deep playoff run, which it's looking like, it makes sense that they could, I think he'll walk away into the sunset after this year. How do you feel about the Dwayne Brown signing?
It's a tough situation because obviously he was signed for depth, and, I don't expect him to go out and play phenomenal. I just want him to do a good enough job to where Zach Wilson can throw the football and we can have the high quality run plays that I felt like we had this past week. Mm-hmm. He was brought in for depth because coming into the year we were very confident in our offensive line and what it was going to be able to do. Right. So being able to bring in that depth was great, and I think he's had to step into a role, but as far as a next year kind of guy, I don't know. I don't see him there next year.
Okay. Yeah, I think also with Fant, I think Io just asked us a question too about Fant. So I think Dwayne Brown and Fant are both gone next year. I think with Fant, this was the year we needed to see, like, is he going to be worth that contract extension, right? Everybody talked about how, like, he's a young 32-year-old because he didn't play football until much later. His body is fresh, etc. But he dealt with injuries towards the back end of the season last year. He was banged up throughout the year, and then coming into this year, he was injured. He's a no-go. I don't see George Fant on this roster next year. I think it's already been decided because Joe Douglas he's already taken the L's from individuals that have not been able to play in a Mekhi Becton. And the offensive line has been a constant rotation of new bodies because of injury. And George Fant, I think right now, with just one big year sample size of being good last year, he needed this year to kind of solidify himself as somebody that can be depended upon. And so, yeah, I don't think we see George Fant next year. In all actuality, man, I'd be surprised if we see George Fant after the bye week. I know he's coming off of the IR, but it almost seems like they put him on the IR because there was a lot of uncertainty about either his desire to want to play or if the injuries the lingering injuries he was talking about were still good to go, because he was supposed to be off 2 weeks ago. And they were like, yeah, now we're good. And with our offensive line decimated the way it is, I don't see us saying, hey, you're good if he was healthy enough to get back out there unless there's a reason behind it. So I think there's more to the George Fant aspect that we're not made aware of. But no, I do not see George Fant next year on this roster, and I do believe Dwayne Brown's going to retire. We the People, 732. 732, are you in Asbury Park, Mount Holly? Because 732 area code. That's why I grew up in Asbury Park, and that looks very familiar. So that's at that Mount Holly to Asbury Park area code, in New Jersey. So the defense is better than Rex Ryan's defense. Wow. Okay. Go ahead, Jet. What do you think about that statement there?
As far as Rex, I started watching Jets games in 2014. That's when I first started watching, every single Jets game.
Okay.
So I kind of caught the back end of the Rex Ryan tenure with the Jets. So I didn't get to see the lockdown defenses that he produced here in New York, obviously. So I don't know. My opinion's kind of I don't have a really much of an opinion on that because again I didn't get to watch the good Rex Ryan defenses. But I mean this defense is good. So I'll let you take the point on this one.
I gotta say, man, I think the Rex Ryan defense was more well rounded. It was more well rounded. I think right now we have elite play from the cornerbacks. I think we have elite play from the defensive line. We've got good to great play from the linebackers, but I can't tell you a weak spot in that Rex Ryan defense when they were playing. And maybe it's because, Rex does such a great job at masking some of the deficiencies with the blitz schemes. That's very possible as well. Pressure was created constantly at the quarterback level to get to the quarterback, but it was based off of, now that I think about it, they needed elaborate schemes like blitzes to actually get into the backfield. Whereas here, we're seeing our guys get into the backfield with a four-man rush.
Right. We don't blitz.
We don't blitz nearly as much.
Right.
Damn. I think he's right, actually. No, I'm taking.
So let me ask you this then.
All right.
Would you rather have Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie, or Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed?
Now we're talking about in their primes, right? Because Cromartie fell off too quite a bit. Like prime.
I would say this is what I would say. I would say prime Darrelle Revis is probably the greatest cornerback of all time.
Of all time, 100%.
So take that.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Revis. I'm gonna go with Revis and Crow.
You're taking Revis?
I'm taking Revis and Crow. Yeah,
that's valid.
Yeah, and again, I love Sauce. I love everything we're seeing about him. He's blown my mind in terms of what he's done thus far. But I watched Revis do it consistently for years. Like it wasn't even a question. He erased the other team's best wide receiver every time he got on the field. Revis was a special breed, man. Like I think in terms of like tangible skills, like speed, length, you know what I'm saying? Like I think Sauce definitely got him on that. Like he's just built different. But in terms of the intangibles, man, and then Sauce is a smart cat, like real smart. He's a student of the game. But there was something about Revis, man, where like it was like he could absorb knowledge by watching tape. He could absorb the traits of a player by watching tape, right? It just like through osmosis could watch tape on a player and just boom, I know everything you're gonna do before you know you're gonna do it, and it showed like in games. I gotta go with Revis and Crow. But man, that's a tough one. That's a very tough one because I've been very impressed with Reed and freaking Sauce. All right, I don't think we have any more questions here. Orlando Brown and free. Oh, here we go. Orlando Brown and free agency definitely want Mitchell at right tackle, draft developmental center with 301 of the drafts. Orlando Brown and free agency. Is he a free agent this year? Or does he mean Tunsil? I think he meant Tunsil. Because Jeremy Tunsil is going to become a free agent. And I personally hope we pursue him. If we pursue Jeremy Tunsil and we get him on the roster, then I think we can focus primarily on getting a center into the building. And I think that would put that offensive line over the top. He could do it. He's on. That would be special. These guys are just talking to each other. This is kind of awesome. I've never seen this much engagement and interaction. They're just talking to each other and not talking. It was just fun, which is great. I love it.
Absolutely.
We draft center. So we turn over the Jet tie. Rusty Spoon says, I hope we draft center Jarrett Patterson from Notre Dame. Hasn't let up a single sack ever and plays multiple line positions. Hey, you know about this kid? Center Jarrett Patterson?
I love Jarrett Patterson. Love Jarrett Patterson.
Tell us more.
and Notre Dame is O-line you. All right, that's I think that's a very known thing. They got another guy, Joe Alt. He's there, and he's dominant. Jarrett Patterson is absolutely dominant, and he's the kind of guy that he goes unnoticed. He goes unnoticed. He quietly destroys opposing defenders. So if the Jets got Jarrett, again, I haven't looked at mock drafts and things like that where people are seeing Jarrett Patterson go, but if we're sitting early to mid 20s, even late 20s, and we can get Patterson, I would not mind that at all because I think he would be a day one starter.
Wow. Okay. And he plays any position on the line. But
he would. I think he would. Yeah. He would. I don't know. He can play anywhere. He's so versatile. It's unreal.
So you're telling me potentially another AVT is what this kid could potentially be.
I think so. He might be. I don't know the exact height and weight difference between him and AVT, but he might be a little bit bigger than AVT too. And I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
But I'm a big Jarrett Patterson guy. He's been so huge for Notre Dame this year.
See, now I gotta jump on and kind of figure out. I want to know more about this kid. And again, it's crazy too because we're in November right now, and this is for the first time in literally almost 10 years. I haven't watched college football and thought, man, the Jets are drafting, top 5. We could get this guy. I haven't cared to. I don't know where we're drafting, but I know it's going to be late, and I don't care about that right now.
Exactly.
But this is good stuff to know. So again, Dark Soldier, you're asking if there are any centers in the upcoming draft that can sit behind McGovern for a year or two. I don't know, bruh. I don't know.
That's where I'm at. I have no idea.
I haven't watched any college football on Saturdays with the thought process of, hey, we suck. We're rebuilding. Who could help this team turn it around? I haven't done that. And I don't plan on doing that until we're out of the playoffs because that's literally the route we're headed right now. Almost ordered a Max Mitchell. It's not a bad one. Notre Dame can start. Okay, so Jarrett Patterson from Notre Dame can start over him and or play guard tackle as well. So he's talking about McGovern at center. So there's some love for this Jarrett Patterson.
Yeah, I'm a big Jarrett Patterson guy.
Okay, I think. All right, guys. Listen, we were way over the hour mark, and I love the engagement. I appreciate you guys for coming on. Jet, tell the people where they can go ahead and see you, brother.
You'll find me most active on TikTok, which is just at Jet Garrett, JettGarrett. That's where you can find me on Instagram, at Jet Garrett. I think my Twitter's Jet Garrett as well. I'm honestly not 100% sure. And then Off the Tracks, which is our YouTube channel that I do with my cousin podcast. We do a lot of sports stuff over there as well. That's pretty much where you can find me here. This has been an absolute blast. I want to thank you again for having me on.
Hey, brother, thanks for coming on. You know what I'm saying? I know we tried to get you on last week, and, again, traffic in Houston crushed my hopes and dreams. But I don't think we're mad about it. Last week would have been more of a somber show. We had to loss to the Patriots, and then this week we get to sit here and talk about beating the Buffalo Bills. I think that's a win. Ultimately, man, thank you, man. Like, every time I get on here with you, it's just too easy. I'm going to have you here a couple more times before the season's over. And,
Absolutely.
Again, if you're not following him on TikTok, I actually follow him on TikTok, man. They do some incredible stuff. Him and his cousin do some good stuff as well. So give him a follow. I'm going to get better at creating graphics to where I can just, pop up your stuff. I've spent so much time learning how to edit videos on Final Cut Pro where I got this program, Ecamm, to go ahead and do the live stream stuff because the wife was like, get on live streams and just be you with other people. It'll probably be more entertaining than just seeing you do videos on Final Cut. I can't complain. It's been a lot more fun, more engaging, more interactive. And
Absolutely.
Again, an hour and 28 minutes in, we could still keep going. But until next time, everybody, y'all know where to find me at New York Jets Situation Report on here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And go Jets. Go Jets. Bye week is coming, and I got a video dropping as to how the Jets will be celebrating Victory Monday again this next Monday. So thank you all for watching. Y'all have a wonderful evening.